Within ancient Greek culture, there was a concept known as Thumos. Thumos, literally just translating to something along the lines of spiritedness, is pretty much defined as a passion, specifically a passion or a drive for recognition and fame. It was believed that a lot of the traditional Greek heroes possessed high thumos, such as Achilles or Hercules or other figures such as that, who aspired to be greater, to be recognized for strength and stuff like this. Specifically, it manifests itself as a desire to be recognized for glory in some sense like that. In Plato's works, throughout his works, he defines three specific aspects of the human psyche, those being appetite, which is just a desire for material pleasures; reason, which is, of course, thinking, being rational, all this; and thumos, which Plato, pretty much says, as I had already said before, was like this passion, this drive to become more, to be seen, to be recognized. I find it very interesting because this concept seems at least somewhat similar, though not exactly the same, as Nietzsche's concept of the will to power. So the will to power in Nietzsche's philosophy is basically the idea that humans, the driving force of not only humans, but all of nature, whether you're, like some tiny, tiny insect or an elephant, or even the world itself, has this drive to become more. This is the will to power. It is to be in a constant state of self-overcoming, to set a goal for yourself, whether explicitly or implicitly, and to do whatever it takes to reach that goal, even if the journey to reaching that goal is filled with hardships. So Nietzsche basically says this is the driving force of nature, human nature specifically, but nature itself. So what I find interesting about these two concepts, one thing to note is that Nietzsche himself was heavily influenced by ancient Greek culture. He wrote about ancient Greek culture in The Birth of Tragedy and other works. But it's very interesting how Thumos and the will to power have some interesting similarities. For example, both of them are basically saying that there is this desire to become more. Thumos is understood to be, it is a desire to become more, specifically through fame and recognition for like glory, whether it's glory in combat or war or something like that. But it still has that similarity of the whole concept of becoming more as a will to power, though the will to power in Nietzsche's philosophy is not as focused about fame and recognition, because Nietzsche did not seem to care that much about being seen positively by other people. He said that great men, that eventually what would become the overman, wouldn't really bother with being well liked. They wouldn't really bother with being understood by the common person, because their goals, their ambitions are too high for a common person to understand. That was basically what Nietzsche said. So Thumos is basically, it's this desire to become more, and specifically to be seen for glory, for your glory in combat and war and all of this stuff, or wrestling or anything else. And but the will to power, it is also this desire to become more, to become stronger, to become better, to become more powerful. But it was more but his concept of the will to power is more self-focused. It's more less about, what will I be remembered for? It's more just, how should I live my life? And how can I embrace my solitude, and how can I become better through solitude? Nietzsche wrote heavily about the importance of solitude, and talked about people who spend too much time with social life, basically, and talked about like the herd and all this, and talked about how great men and the overman would be people of solitude, people who look inwards to themselves and try to create their own values and create their own goals and strive no matter what to achieve those goals and to have power over oneself, which according to Nietzsche means that you have to have a lot of time alone. Of course, you can't spend all of your time alone, but you should spend a good amount of your time alone. And yeah, so that's pretty much both concepts in showing their interesting similarities. I'm not quite sure if Nietzsche's will to power idea was at all inspired by the concept of Thumos, but considering the fact that he wrote extensively about ancient Greek culture, I feel like it's possible that there was like some inspiration taken from there. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say for today's video. So if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. And thank you for watching. Goodbye.